Hello and welcome back to the Willie Morgan Show with Manchester United icon Willie Morgan. Lots to talk about in today's show. Some really interesting things to chat about as well. Some quite annoying things to chat about from the world of football, having watched the first 2 weeks of the Premier League. But before we get to any of that, how are you, Willie, and how's things been?
Well, I'm fine. We had COVID 2 weeks ago, and for the first time, we thought we'd avoided it, but Kay and I both had it. But we're okay now. It's not made my golf any better, but I'm fit and well. Apart from the obvious results, the recent results, it's been a bit of a nightmare, and obviously a couple of more people. I mean, John Hughes, the bear, feed the bear. I used to sing that. Very sad. And also another friend, Darius Dinesh. For all you people who are listening, I don't know if you remember Darius. He had a great voice, and he was in lots of things. And he is the nephew of one of our best friends, Ashraf Ravi, Harold Ravi, the great artist's wife. And he's only 41. So it puts things in perspective. Bottom of the league, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Down at 41. So
you're right. It puts life and football in general into perspective. And as you say, it's heartbreaking. And our thoughts, of course, are with Harold and his wife and the whole family.
Yeah, and with John Hughes' family. I love the bear. So I used to sing that, feed the bear, my goodness. So anyway, God rest their souls, wherever they are. And yes, it puts life in perspective. I mean, football, yes, it's important, but nothing is more important in life. So other than that, that's the bad news out of the way. So, well, it's not the bad news out of the way. I think there's some more to come, Colin.
There is, and I think before we get to the bad news of the results, one piece of news that came out today from the financial website and TV channel Bloomberg News is that the Glazer family want to sell a minority stake in Manchester United. So they want some more investment. They won't sell the club fully at this moment, but they are looking to sell around 10 or 20% if they're saying a minority. That's what you would think.
You get any money?
I've got a £5 in my wallet. Do you think that's enough?
Well, I've got £4.50, so maybe at the moment I don't think we need that much. My goodness, there's not a player worth that at the club. So no, I saw, and that Musk is looking to buy United. Apparently, he's been a long time supporter since he was a kid. Elon Musk. They tell me, I mean, I don't really know much about him, but he's the richest man in the world.
Yeah, he owns Tesla cars. He put out last night that he was joking about buying United at the moment, but is that a smokescreen for him to maybe try and get it at a cheaper price? You know what these people are like. They drive a hard bargain.
Yeah, I have no idea, but anyone will be better than this mob that we've got. You know, I keep trying to say, well, yeah, they've let people spend over £1 billion on players, but they've drained the club. You know, this is the biggest, most famous club in the world. And the skin, they don't have any money. The skin, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. And it's because of these people. So the sooner they sell a minority, yeah, that's not enough. They really need to just, you know, wipe the face and get out of there. Stay in America. You don't need them here.
I think given the protests that we've seen already at the Brighton game, given the protests that are planned for the Liverpool game, it's clear that the majority of fans want to see the Glazers sell. You've mentioned there that it would make sense for them to go. I suppose you need to hope that that's going to change soon, because as you said earlier, Willie, bottom of the table, opening day of the season, a 2-1 defeat to Brighton. The only goal that United have scored this season was an own goal, and then to follow that up with an absolute hammering by Brentford 4-0 is a very worrying start to the season.
I think that's putting it quite mildly, that, Callum. Worrying? My God. I did an interview yesterday for the Sun newspaper, which will be out sometime this week, and it's crazy. I mean, he's saying, what do you think about relegation? Well, wait a minute, we've only played 2 games. It's not, it's a long, long way to go. And it's not like you've got the mighty Barcelona, Real Madrid, Brazil. They're nobody to beat. And we can't beat Brighton and Brentford. I mean, that is a bit frightening. I'm when this guy came, I'd never heard of the guy either. Just like the German, never heard of him. He's just another coach for me. And all you listeners, I know you'd be sick of me saying about coaches, but they are the dregs of the earth. And they're all the same. No matter who you bring in, they're all the same. And I thought when he came in and said, well, I don't want the German here behind my back, looking over my shoulder, I thought, okay, yeah. And then this Ronaldo situation is a joke. Is it the Beano or the Dandy? I'm not sure which one I'm reading. It must be the Beano or the Dandy. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. Then you got Alex sticking his nose back in. What's he doing in there? He sold him. And now he's playing with him to stay. Well, wait a minute, you sold him. Stop. The situation is crazy. It's twofold. If I was Ronaldo, yes, I'd want to go, without a doubt. He's at the end of his career. He wants to be in a good team where he's got a chance to win something. He's got all the money in the world. It's nothing to do with money. He wants to be in a good team and win something. I understand that. And he needs to be in a good team, because when you're playing up front, you rely on ammunition coming from everywhere, and he ain't getting that. He ain't going to get that. So I understand that. But as soon as you said, well, that's how I feel, and I'm not sure I want to be here, you go. It'd be gone in a day. If that'd been Mark Busby, it would never happen, all this. It'd be gone in a day. You can't have that. The unrest it causes all the players and that is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then what he does, first game of the season, he puts him on the bench. And you think, really? Okay. So after the match, when he's asked why he puts him on the bench, and I'm sure you've all read this, and his explanation was, well, we didn't think he was fully match fit to play 90 minutes. Really? Okay. Well, you brought him on for half a match. Why don't you start him and get in front? He's the best goal scorer. He's the best chance you've got to go in front. You start with him. Then take him off if he gets tired. How ludicrous. It's a coach. That's how coaches think. You just put him on the bench just in case it's not good. Really? It's idiotic. Just another coach. The guy hasn't got a clue.
The thing that we spoke about towards the end of last season was about players like Matic, Pogba, Cavani, all these type of players, Mata, who we agreed that it was time for them to move on, and they've gone, but they haven't been replaced, which is also worrying.
It's not that they haven't been replaced. I mean, this guy that he signed, Rabia or whatever what? Who found this guy? And the one that they tried to sign, the centre forward, 33-year-old, couldn't make it at West Ham, couldn't make it anywhere, and they were going to sign him. What idiot has come up with these ideas? Is it the new coach? I don't want to use the word manager. Is it the new coach, or is it the people behind the scenes again, who the Glazers appointed, who have no idea about football, which is pretty obvious? But when the guy comes in, The reason he's got the job, just like the reason that the other people got the job, the players aren't good enough. It's not 3 players or 4 players. In fact, Mata was probably the best player that we had. He was a nice little player, not great, a nice little player. But we've still got all the rest of the rubbish. And we still got Maguire. I tell you what, oh dear, what's the get? It's frightening. We are in trouble, I tell you. The only thing that they've got going for them is the name Manchester United. If it strikes, and I don't think it does at the moment, certainly not with the mighty Brentford and the mighty Brighton beating us. I don't think the name Manchester United strikes fear anymore. Nobody's frightened to come to Old Trafford. I mean, Brighton proved that. Nobody's frightened anymore. Will we win games? Of course, because apart from Man City, there isn't any. I mean, Man City is the best team in the league. They're not great, but they're the best team in the league and the most consistent. All the others, you throw a blanket over them. They're all going to get beat by, people from the bottom league will beat people up at the top. And there's no reason that we're not going to win a few matches because the rest of them are as bad as we are. So I don't think we're good. I don't even want to give it a thought about going down. I had enough of that when I was playing. So I don't want to do that again, Callum. But I don't know what they're going to. I don't know what they're going to do. They've still got Fred, Martial, Shaw, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, Phil Jones. Dare I say Phil Jones? I mean, he should stand for President of America because he is the greatest enigma known to man. Why he is still getting paid as a professional footballer is a mystery. I was at the golf club yesterday, and this old lad, I said, "Oh, Willie, great to meet you." Real old lad. He said, "Oh, I used to watch you when I was a kid," and he said, "It's heartbreaking, isn't it?" I said, "Yeah, he's called Vic, by the way." And he said, What is that Phil Jones still doing at our club?" I said, "I forgot about him." I don't know. I really don't know. But that sums up the club at the moment. They're in disarray. They haven't got a clue what direction to go in. So, and the fact they let Ronaldo do this is a joke. And I say, I don't blame him, by the way, because if I was him, I'd do the same. But the club is the joke for letting them carry on and create this confusion. And it's ridiculous, absolutely crazy.
Manchester United as a club have always promoted youth over the years. Do you think it's time that Erik Ten Hag turns to some of the younger players rather than persist with the players that Maguire you've mentioned, who he already knows aren't good enough?
You're not going to persist with Maguire. Well, wait a minute. Do you want to finish up in the 4th division? No. Callum, behave. Stevie Wonder wouldn't persist with him. He's that bad. Anyway, yeah, it's all right bringing young kids through. But the problem we have, as every club has, but the problem we have, they're getting coached from being kids. So there's a conveyor belt of kids who don't think for themselves, don't beat people, lay it off, pass it back, pass it sideways. Don't take anybody on, can't lose the ball, keep possession. And they're getting that drilled into them from being kids. It's not their fault. I'm sure loads of them have got great ability, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way through. Great ability. And it's getting knocked out of them. The individuality is getting knocked out of the kids at a young age. So by the time they get into the first team, just another robot, just the same as the one that they replaced. You just got to be lucky to get someone who can think for himself and not just do what a coach is telling him what to do when he's on the pitch, because that's what's happening. And I mean, the coach couldn't play himself. So how's he going to tell people? There must be, getting rid of Ollie. It's crazy. right? No, he's not the answer, but he was better than anyone else we've had. And we did well, even with the rubbish we had, and he had. He got them, playing together and playing for the club. Now it just looks like, it was horrendous. Brentford. And by the way, sorry, my doctor's a Brentford supporter. Phil, if you listen to this, don't take it the wrong way. And don't give me an injection I don't need. He's a Brentford supporter, so he'll be delighted, Mr. Coney. It's too bad to be true. It's too bad to be true. We're hoping it will wake up and it'll all be in a dream. That's all we can hope for at the moment. I don't know where they're going to go. First thing is, they're going to get Ronaldo out the club tomorrow. Go on. He's no good to us anyway, because nobody's going to provide chances for him to score the goals. And he can't do it on his own. So, I don't know. I don't know I don't know what the answer is. I would love to go in there tomorrow, take Paddy Crown with me, give me 2-3 months, I'll clear the place out and I'll get a team together and we'll do well. Have Paddy's my right-hand man and we do well. There you go. I don't need coaching badges and manuals or whatever they use, these people. I don't need them. City and Liverpool are lucky because apart from being a coach, they both could have been managers. They have the mentality of a manager. They act like managers. Because all these other people, they say they just come out a conveyor belt, they're all the same. So I don't know. I'm as bewildered as anyone else. I don't have an answer. I wish I had.
The next game is, of course, against Liverpool at Old Trafford. Liverpool have had 2 draws this season. United have had 2 defeats. What sort of game do you think it will be? Because on paper, you're thinking that it's 2 poor teams playing one another.
It'll be minging. And I think we'll beat them 1-0. Why? No particular, not because we're any good. I just think we'll beat them 1-0. They've never been exceptional. They just have a good manager or a good coach who acts like a manager. But they've still got the same rubbish. And of course, they've got someone so close to Maguire. It's untrue, as you well know, Jordan Henderson. So, and in fairness, a couple of, again, great teams are playing against Fulham and Crystal Palace, 2 of the top teams in the world. They've got draws with them. They're average. City are the best team by miles. And what he's done, he lost a great striker, Aguero, great striker, play in any era because he was a great finisher. But this guy seems to fit the bill as well. I know we'll have to wait and see long term, but he looks the part. So what he does, he replaces the right people. He didn't just go out and buy and say, fit him in somewhere. He replaces the right people and doesn't disrupt pattern of play. So for me, he's obviously the best in the world at the moment at what he does. But I would like to call him a manager, not a coach. Guardiola. So yeah, he could have managed in our era, just the same. But the problem that you have worldwide is that kids are getting coached at too young an age and getting all the natural ability knocked out of them. They're frightened to take people on. And it has to change. It really does. It has to change. I don't know who's going to change it. It will, like everything. Even my haircut will come back, But it has to change. When, probably not in my lifetime, but it will eventually. They'll go back to being managers. They'll realise that and let kids play. And they've said, I don't know, thousands of times. All you have to do is go into school, ask the kids, who's the best player? Callum McFadden's the best player. Who's the next best? Willie Morgan. Who's the next best? Barry Penn. Who's the next? The kids will tell you who can play. It really is that simple. Keep saying, simple game, played by simple people, made difficult by coaches. There you go, Callum, you can use that.
Absolutely. I want to ask you very quickly about Burnley. 4 games into the Championship, they've only lost one of them. They are 4 points off the top. As I say, there's only 4 games played, so there's a long way to go. Do you think they've got a chance of coming up this season? They've got obviously Vincent Kompany as the manager, and they've signed quite a few players as well.
You know, it's the same. It's the same thing. You know, you can throw a blanket over the whole division. They're all players who've been coached from kids. They're all the same. They're very little difference. You just need to be able to find one who's got a little bit more about them and will take people on and will do something different. I haven't seen them play this year. Is it Blackburn top of the league, are they?
At the moment, yes.
At the moment. I mean, that is bitter rivalry anyway, Blackburn. So they will be pulling out all the stops. I hope so. I mean, I don't know Vincent Kompany, but you know the sad thing about, and he was a good player, by the way. I wish we had him. Now
I'd take him now.
Now, I'll tell you what, he'd be 1,000 times better than what we got, as you well know. And the sad thing about players who have been good players, they have to go and take coaching badge. Go and get a coaching badge to get a job. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. You could play. He'll know who can play. You know, he'll know a player. But you have to go and you have to get a coaching badge and do all the things that coaches are supposed to do. And that's sad. I hope he does. I hope he does well. Obviously, I hope he does well for Burnley. You know, I still got great affection. And for Bolton. You know, somebody was saying that, I think during the interview, he said, well, Man U was the, you know, best. I said, no, but I loved everywhere. I loved Bolton and I loved Burnley. People were great, teams were great, managers were great. But we just loved playing football back then. I had Paddy around, it was my grandson's 30th birthday, Alexander, and Paddy and Noreen and the daughter Lorraine came round we had a barbecue in the garden. And of course, as we were reminiscing, as we do. And of course, we got into coaches. And the air was blue a little while, so we got told off. We got told off for swearing, anyway. But it's true, it's crazy. I mean, even now. But Paddy and his man's at Man United. You only take 2 years to put them back at the top. Because he knows the game, he knows the people, he knows players, he knows the blend he's looking for. I keep reminiscing and going off on a tangent and all, but it is heartbreaking for people like us. So we've come up with we're going to get Dennis and I, and we're going to have a little dinner party together, and we can reminisce and slag everybody we want. No one will care. But you know, you don't want to be slagging people. You want it to be right. But it's boring, and I don't know. It's just the players that he's talking about, that he's brought in and bringing in this new guy. Why? What? Where? And he's still got. You know, we said last season, you got to get rid of at least 10 players. There's 4 gone. The rest are still there. And they're playing. And they're playing. Oh, he played well in the pre-season matches. Well, they're Mickey Mouse games. The Mickey Mouse games, the practice matches. They've never done it. They can't do it, but they're still there. They're still playing. So I don't know. I have no idea how long he signed a contract for, but Never thought I'd say even bring back the German. No, I couldn't do that. Couldn't do that.
We've got a few.
I'll bring back Ollie though in a heartbeat. I'd bring him back in a heartbeat because he loved the club. It meant something to him. You know, not just making money, picking money up and moving on somewhere else when you get the sack. It meant something to him. And we don't have that. This guy certainly doesn't have it. Not at all.
We've got some good questions actually coming in. We've got a question from Edwin Ferrugia, who is based in Malta. He says, "Hello, Willie. They don't make real wingers like you anymore, sadly. Now a player can play in 3 positions, but is the master of none. What is going on?"
Oh, Edwin. In fact, a couple of days ago, I went up in the attic. I was looking for my boots, Edwin. I couldn't find them. I was going to clean them up and go down to Old Trafford and say, "Look, I've still got my boots. Is there any chance?" I only need one game. It's just gone. And I said, the reason it's gone, the reason there's no wingers, coaches. They don't want kids taking people on. They don't want them to take people on and lose the ball. They're not always going to lose the ball. They're going to create chances. And it's the most dangerous. You get a winger going to the byline and cutting the ball into the box. It's the most dangerous move in football. In football. You don't have them anymore. As soon as they're not wingers, they're front players. As soon as they're confronted by the fullback or wing back, as they call themselves, they just turn and pass it back. You think, why? It's heartbreaking to watch. It is heartbreaking to watch. And it's not that we've got rose-coloured glasses from the old days. Someone, and again, I'm always getting asked things. The supporters saying, "Oh, what, your team, what the team that you were in, the old team, what would they be like to do?" I said, "They win everything. Everything. Because nobody can stop it." Can you imagine the forward line, Morgan, Law, Charlton, Kidd, and Best, playing against the present back people? I mean, it'd be like winning the pools 1,000 times over. They couldn't stop you in a million years. So it's not, and I know the game's changed, obviously, but it's changed it's apart from what's happening on the pitch. The pitches are fantastic. The equipment, the balls are fantastic. They've got the best of everything. They just don't excite anyone. And I don't know what, apart from Lionel Messi. I keep coming back to Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi is a genius. He's a genius and been a genius in any era. But take him out of the equation, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. So Edwin, I don't know. Can you play in the wing? I could get you an agent. If you can play in the wing, Edwin, and you're under 60, I get you a game at Old Trafford. Get an agent, we'll get you in at Old Trafford on the right wing.
The last question we've got is about Jimmy Murphy. The club have confirmed that the statue will be built and it's been commissioned already, but it's now in the process of getting made. From our good friend Otterman, when you were at United, what were your main memories of Jimmy?
Jimmy, well, as you know, when I went down on the Friday night for the first time, was taken down, it was Jimmy that met me. And I didn't know Jimmy Murphy, obviously, you Matt. And he took me up into the stand, took me in the director's box. The floodlights were on at Old Trafford at the time. He said, "Look up there, what can you see?" I said, "Oh, you got the tricky light." He said, "Yeah, get in there. Just get in and sign." And he took me in to meet Matt. Him and Matt were pals. It wasn't, manager, assistant. They were pals. They were pal. They did everything together. There was no division between them. They were just so close. So you speak to Jimmy just like speak to Matt. Speak to Matt like speak to Jimmy. He was a really, really, just as obviously the gaffer was, nice man. And there was no, there was no nothing. It just happy. We were gutted because I know that the gaffer wanted Jimmy to take over, but Jimmy said, he had enough as well, and he wanted to retire at the same time as Matt. That's the only reason both got the job. That'd been great if Jimmy had got the job because it would just carried on. He knew players. He knew the blend. He knew the style of football that Matt wanted and he wanted. Yeah, sadly missed as well. And I think it's brilliant that they're putting a statue up. Absolutely brilliant. The Murph. Yeah, good guy.
I'm glad you say that, and I think the statue will be a fitting memorial for someone who, like Sir Matt, is a Manchester United great, because as you say, they were a great double act, and I think when you look through football, every manager needs someone alongside them because we're all humans, we all have off days, and I think that's important.
It wasn't even that, it was a double act. It was Batman and Robin, they did it together. So Jimmy would come in and say, right, I want you to do this, this, and this. You didn't have to ask permission from Matt, or obviously Matt did that. You did it because they were joint. They were joint at the hip. It wasn't one manager, it was two managers. And obviously it worked, obviously. Sadly missed. And they trusted each other implicitly. You didn't have to watch your back. There was no knives in the back, Callum. So they were just complete and utter 100% trust between them. And I think it's fabulous. The putting the statue up, I think it's absolutely brilliant. I shall go down and have a little look when it's.
Absolutely. And just before we go, you've already said you think United will win 1-0 next week against Liverpool. Any listeners that have got their score predictions, you can of course comment those for us, and we'll see who's right come the next show. Just before we go though, Willie, any messages for the listeners?
Oh, as always, for all the listeners and the viewers, in this crazy world, I keep saying, take care of yourself and may your God go with you. And
hopefully, let's just, fingers crossed, next time we'll be talking about a United win.
Everything crossed. I've got legs crossed. Everything crossed. So we'll see. There'll be nothing in it. They've got nothing. And they play with 10 men. I hope he's playing, by the way. Anyway.